Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am Dr. Marianne Pinkston, and as always, I try to bring a lot of great information in the medical field, and sometimes I do a little bit of local work trying to highlight some people who really have a great heart and do wonderful things that many people may not know about. So this is no exception. Today, I am bringing Pamela Allen in, and she works with the Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach. And I don't watch a lot of news. It depresses me and it hurts my heart. And I know we're going to get knee deep into it this morning, but I would love for you to explain what you do. Because when I read your story, I was floored and amazed. I had to have you on. So welcome in. It's nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor to be here with you. Because I love watching your story too and how you empower other women. And it's a blessing. So I am Pamela Allen, and I am the CEO and advocate at Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach. And we just spoke about how life makes us make different choices. Absolutely. And when God turns a blinker on, we have to go. And so, being in the advocacy field, being an advocate for special education law, and being an advocate for refugees, for people who are vulnerable. And that was just a twist and a turn for me. But I've been in this field for about 25 years, and I've had a nonprofit for 10. This year, we're celebrating our 10th year. Yes, thank you. We're so excited about that. But we use our voices, we lift our voices for those who are vulnerable. Absolutely. And that is, we look at San Antonio. Yes. Let's not even look at the Texas or the nation right now, because we all know what's going on and our current situation. But in the city of San Antonio, we have an alarming rate of child abuse. Yeah. We have high crime rates. Things are just going in such a disastrous way. Absolutely. And I know that God is in control and sits on the throne. And so we have that faith that He has put us here to make a difference.
Absolutely. And each of us are a tool to do that very thing. And how do you choose, though, your group to advocate for? Because there's so many different things that people in life are, situations that people are suffering from. How do you?
We put that road out there and we say, okay, God, lead us. We do have an outreach center. Mm-hmm. So our outreach center, we take care of a lot of families that come in. Our focus is the babies. These are the most vulnerable. Absolutely. And so we have a baby pantry called Giovanni's Hugs, named after Giovanni Ochoa, who was killed very drastically by his grandparents. Yeah. And it was a horrific thing for us to see in San Antonio. Right. So we will not forget his name, and we continue to carry his name in honor by helping other families. So when a young woman, and I'm going to tell you, in the south side of San Antonio, where we're at, the 78211 code, we have seen that the teen pregnancy rate is 59%. Mm-hmm. And so we have a family in where a grandmother brings in her 3 granddaughters, a 17-year-old with 2 babies, a 14-year-old with a baby, and a 12-year-old with a baby. We have a huge crisis.
We do. And I will tell you, when I went through residency almost 30 years ago, I delivered a 10-year-old at Christus Santa Rosa downtown. And so that was my beginning of, an eye-opening experience in San Antonio. I had been here for a long time, but I didn't realize just how deeply troubled, the teens and again, the child abuse. We work a lot with CPS. I have a lot of patients that even where I am out in the kind of the Northwest side, I still have a lot of patients that I interact with, a lot of foster families. And so, it's everywhere and it's deep.
It is. And we see so many children traumatized. We see so many children who are being raised by fosters. Right. And then these children grow up to be young adults. We see them in trouble right now. Even now, we worked this week to get 2 of our special needs young adults out of jail and making sure that they're in a safe place. So, we do have like little tentacles out there. We help our seniors. We help our special needs population. And of course, that's very dear to me. I have a 27-year-old son who is on the spectrum. I'm raising a grandson who does have autism, epilepsy, and a chromosomal disorder called Z11. And so that is our heart. That, reaching out to our special needs population is very dear to us. And we even have a summer program. It's called Summer Animal Play. In June, July, and August, we have the special needs, foster, abused children, children who've been through trauma. They come out, they interact with animals. We put them on the horses. We've created a zip line. We also have a swimming pool, and we have equipment. And we just have 3 acres. So, it's just a little mom and pop, but we absolutely love these children that come out and just are in a safe environment, and they get to interact with farm animals, and all of our animals are rescues. So we put them to work, rescue them. Okay, we're going to rescue you, but now you're going to go to work and you're going to interact with children. So it's a win-win situation. And so we do that every summer, and this is going to be our 9th summer.
Wow,
we do that
wonderful.
too.
And is that something that people can go sign up for and look into? And so I'm sure you're going to give me all that great information. I'll have that on the website for people so they can find. Wonderful.
Yep, they can come out. And the thing is the interaction. We do have therapists that come out too. We help these children interact, gain that confidence, riding on horses. And one of the little side notes too is number 1 cause of death for children with autism is drowning.
How about that?
When we first got into this different lifestyle with our son, we understood. For some reason, they can hear the water calls to them, jumping in, not even understanding that they can't swim. But when my son did become verbal, he said, I can feel where I am. I can feel my body.
Wow.
Because they have spatial awareness issues. Yes.
Exactly.
And so it's all neurological.
Yes.
So he told me, I know where I'm at in the water. We started teaching him how to swim then. And ever since then, we have taught special needs babies how to swim because we need to do something about that statistic. It's an above ground pool. It's no big deal, but can we get at least 5 to 10 kids every summer and teach them? Yeah, we can.
That's great.
And we do. We want to make sure that these babies can save themselves, that these babies can learn how to swim, and that these babies will walk every day in their destiny and not be a statistic. And so that's important for us too.
And it's also very good for them to, because with autism, they do have a lot of difficulty, with the same emotions or empathy or things that we feel when we're normal. I said that in quotes because there's I don't believe in normal. There's really nothing normal about any of us, but still they have difficulty with textures, with certain sounds and things like that. So I can't imagine to somebody jumping in the water, you have this instinct to swim, but to them they feel it differently, right? So that's very, very interesting.
They can hear it and they can feel. They have this hypersensitivity in their hearing. I mean, long before an airplane comes, we can usually tell by the reactions of children, an airplane's coming. Yeah. And we'll sit and wait. True. There it is. Yeah. And so they have these heightened senses. And so I believe that they're just an amazing, amazing community that we love working with. Absolutely. That's our heart, And by the way, when you said normal, that is a selection on your washing machine. Exactly. But it does not apply. I agree. We call it you're either neurotypical or you're not. And so there you go. We have learned so much in our journey with our son, and it made me look at life differently, taught me a little bit more about courage, because every day has to be a day of courage for them, having their senses so heightened and having to deal with people's sounds. They could probably hear the lighting, hear the AC, they could hear everything, and they still have to focus and speak and learn in the school. And so it's pretty difficult for them. So I understand courage by looking at what they go through.
Absolutely. And they're treated differently too, so they have to survive that as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
Even though I don't think they always have a sense of feeling so abnormal. I put that in quotes, because that's how other people see it. And so, but a sense that they're different.
Right.
And they don't completely understand that. Usually very intelligent. I mean, almost to or at a genius level. I've noticed the incredible intelligence. They go to school and they learn. And then you have billionaires who I think somebody like, it may be wrong, but somebody like Elon Musk, I think is on the spectrum.
Yes, he is.
And a very different thinker, and applies that. Look, he's a billionaire. It's amazing how their brains work. But let's talk about the statistics, because I don't think people really understand how common it is. I know years ago, and I think this leads to a lot of industry food changes and pesticides and a lot of environmental issues that have changed, the way that babies are developed in the womb and are born and have these challenges once they're born. But way back, in the 70s, 80s, it was like 1 in 150. And now you were discussing this morning, it's like 1 in 40, 1 in 42, 43.
Right. When
it's more common.
Yes. When my son was diagnosed, it was in 1998.
Okay.
In 1998, the ratio was 1 in 500. Mm-hmm. And,
Gotcha.
I always thought, how am I going to ever meet another mom? I need to talk to someone.
Sure.
I don't know what this is. First thing when he was diagnosed, you know what my prayer was? Please, Lord, don't let him be Rain Man. And so that's all
Understood.
I knew was Rain Man.
Sure.
And you know what? He has a lot of the Rain Man characteristics.
Sure.
But man, what a gift that is. And I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Today, we're looking at 1 in 40.
Right.
And it affects 85% of it, they're male. The people who get diagnosed, and the other 15% are girls. And so we're walking with these statistics and looking at the changes that have come ever since my son was diagnosed. Changes in the way we look at young people, changes in the way we look at children. Now when I hear a scream in the mall or in the grocery store, I'm like, oh, that child, I believe. And so I'll go. Because we used to be so discriminated against,
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you this honestly, when I would hear a child scream, I'd be like, oh no, that child needs to be spanked. Oh,
exactly.
That mama just needs to handle her child.
Exactly.
And how much of that have we as mothers put that out there?
Absolutely.
And of course we were military, so you don't have control of your child.
Even worse.
Well, and so I remember leaving the commissary one day in tears because my child was screaming. I just wanted to make lasagna and I didn't have ricotta. Grab the baby, go to the commissary. And of course, the sounds, the smells, everything. Yes. So he's screaming.
Overstimulated.
And the screaming and the flapping of the hands. And he was diagnosed with the severity of his autism. It was not a good outcome. I was told to put him in an institution so I could get my life back and learn sign language because he was nonverbal. And me being the mother that I was, I said, well, I've got my first sign for you, sweetheart. And so it's just very difficult for me to get through that. But in the commissary, this one veteran, as we say in Texas, bless his heart, took his belt off and gave it to me to go to the bathroom and spank my child. And I'm looking at him and I said, next time I come out in public, I will make sure that he wears his t-shirt. Please excuse me, I have autism. But if he does that, you need to wear your shirt that says, please excuse me, I'm a jerk. But I didn't say the word jerk, but because I'm not gonna, it started with an A and ended with a hole. But so it was just.
And well deserved.
I was just so angry that you wanted me to take this child because you were being inconvenienced and spank him. And so I remember crying all the way home, leaving the commissary, crying all the way home. Last time I cried.
Right.
Okay, I said, we're not doing this.
We're not going to apologize for this anymore.
We're going to help people understand. And God, please forgive me for using that vulgarity, but
Right.
He deserved no.
Well, bless his heart.
Bless
he didn't
his
know,
heart.
right? I say it all the time too, but he didn't. Very uneducated about.
Yes.
About this, and there has not been. I think probably the last if I feel maybe the last 10 years or so, I've seen a significant change in the knowledge base of people about autism. And it's good to see that change, because then we don't have so many people feel so judgmental, and
it's the acceptance. But honey, I mean, even in our neurotypical world, don't we strive for accepence?
Sure. I mean, always. Oh my gosh. It's story of my life. Even at 53, I'm still begging for people's approval. I don't understand, but still.
It's that acceptance, even within our circle. And I'm getting ready to be 60, and we have to come to terms with that it's the acceptance sometimes that we crave, even within our circle, even within our family. And there's one side of us that wants that. The other side of it is, I'm going to keep on walking with
exactly to hell with you, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but for our children, when we as parents see that for our children, and now I'm seeing it for my grandson, I walked into school the other day, and he was at the end of his cafeteria table eating alone. And the other children were off to the side, and I walked in and I said, round 2, ding, ding.
Here we go.
Let it go. And I, gathered some teachers. This is acceptable. Is this what you're saying? This is what we should be accepting now. And so it was a learning moment for us all, but it wasn't that just like raging young mom who was going to get thrown out, because I've been
fight or flight.
I get thrown out of so many places when I was younger, and I tell people I wear that as a badge of honor, because it was an opportunity for me to say yes, but he has autism. And this as the grandma, as the Mimi, as they call me, it makes me rage even more. But how I deliver that, are you going to be able to accept the fact that this young man is different, yet he should be included?
Sure, absolutely.
And so it
teach the children that.
We have
adults are responsible for that.
Yes, and so we have to get to that point.
Children can be very hard, and we need to talk about that too, about our children. And so we are going to have to take a short break. I told you this goes really fast. It breaks my heart, and I could spend all day with you. But give me a little bit of information about, or give the audience a little bit of information about where they can find you and all of your programs.
Absolutely. You can go to our website at eaglesflightsa.com. A lot of information there. We also advocate for the Baby Moses Law. We also, we're trying to find Lena, working with the refugees. You can find all of our information there. And if you could even find us on social media, Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach.
Absolutely. Please go like, share, and get the word out, because you do take care of a lot of people on the spectrum, from not just the spectrum autism wise, but from, children all the way to the elderly. You've got so many things that you have to offer, and it's wonderful. So you will be able to find all of that information on my website as well, drpbetterlife.com. She'll be highlighted. This will be running all during the week on social media and on the platforms for YouTube and for the podcasts. So, and then indefinitely, it'll be archived there and an indefinite reach. So I love having you. We will take a short break and be back on the other side.
Fatty liver is linked to 2 different situations, alcohol and diabetes, or obesity. In both cases, patients can have no symptoms. In the United States, and in particular, Texas, the most common cause of liver disease in general is non-alcoholic fatty liver. Again, associated with overweight, obesity, and/or diabetes. Additional risk factors include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, Hispanic ethnicity, and postmenopausal status. At Pinnacle Clinical Research, we offer a quick, non-invasive ultrasound-based screening assessment called FibroScan. This test is done at no cost to you, and we do not take insurance. The test will measure the fat and stiffness in your liver and stage your risk and development of fatty liver disease. You will meet with a provider immediately following your scan to go over your results. If you're interested in getting more information on your liver health, please call 210-982-0320 and schedule your FibroScan today. We are conveniently located in the Medical Center at 5109 Medical Drive.
I am Dr. Marianne Pinkston, and I am here with Pamela Allen. And am so, we got in so deep with the advocacy of our children with autism. I know you have a long history of taking care of a child with autism and now a grandson. And we were touching on the schools toward the end of the 18 minutes last. And so let's talk about schools a little bit deeper, because I know there have been a lot of issues going on in schools. I know teachers are absolutely at their wits' end after COVID, and there's been a lot of school, violence and shootings. And so we were talking about your grandson being in, at the end of the table in the lunchroom by himself, poor baby. And adults need to take responsibility for that and make him inclusive and teach children how to include. Children can be a little mean, but I don't think their heart is naturally mean. I think that adults are responsible for passing along that inclusiveness.
Yes, and sometimes when I've gone in to advocate, typically when you see a child getting bullied, you see a teacher who has had some adverse interactions with that child in front of the other children, and it opens the door. Why can't you just behave like everybody else?
Right.
Why can't you just do this? Why are you doing that? And calling out that child so frequently. And so the children in that environment will learn that child is not behaving. Let's call that child out. And so it's something that we pick up on with the teacher's interaction. Now, let me just say this. I have got a long history in my family of having educators who are related to me. I truly admire teachers and educators. I can't even imagine being in your shoes. And I know for a fact you don't have the support that you wished you would have as a teacher from your administration.
Absolutely.
And just to even put it all on the table, Texas ranks either last or sometimes above Mississippi. I don't know if that's a good thing when it comes to deliverance of services to our special needs population.
Right.
We're that low.
Right.
And that is embarrassing.
Yes.
And so when you see our special needs kiddos become targets of bullying, become targets even more so as they get into junior high and high school. I'm going to tell you what some of our families have faced is that our special needs kiddos have been the targets of sexual assault. And for some of those who are nonverbal, that gets even more difficult. Now, we do have laws here in Texas that say if you ask for a camera in the classroom, you can definitely get that. And that is for the classrooms in which children are nonverbal and they stay in that classroom all day.
But who knows that? That's information nobody
Exactly.
knows. Where do you find
when
information like that?
Thank you. And when you're sitting there with an ARD team, an ARD team, and that is the process of which you go through when you have a special needs child, and they don't say, by the way, let's go ahead and get you some cameras in the classroom. Going to cost us some more money.
That's right.
But we're with you.
Right.
That has never happened.
Exactly.
So it takes a parent understanding what their rights are to be able to say, I'm going to need those and I'm going to sign for this and you have 6 weeks to do it and clock starts now.
Right.
Let's get it done.
Exactly.
And they don't understand that they can do that.
But they can reach out to you and figure this out, can't they?
Certainly can. There's so many great advocates. And I'm going to tell you, I love working alongside these amazing leaders and advocates in our city that say, hey, what about this? Let's do this. Let's start thinking together. You know, what we're seeing now, too, is that we're seeing a lot of our young adults getting incarcerated, getting arrested. And when you ask them, do you waive your Miranda rights? Yeah, I'm waiving.
Right.
Can I go home? This is so harsh. Luckily, right now we have a sheriff who's working with us and who's making sure that our special needs population, especially those that are most vulnerable, are in a safe place while they're with him. And then we work with the parents on getting them out. The other thing that's a little bit intimidating, a lot of our special needs young adults, the males, are extremely large, big dudes,
right?
And intimidating. We had one with a 6'5"
and strong,
about 300 and something pounds, and he was in there, but he was lower functioning, sat in a corner, and all he wanted to do was read a Toy Story book. And they were able to accommodate him until we got some help. But how scary is that?
Isn't that something? Bless us.
It it's something that we face every day as parents. And so I think we need to start moving on the legislative side and talking about how we can help them. I know our sheriff is just blue in the face trying to get some extra funding for our special needs population. We have to start moving as a community and saying, how can we do this together? Because whether you agree or disagree, we have a wave. A wave.
We have to deal with it, whether you agree or disagree, whether you like it or not. We do. We have this that we need to deal with.
Stronger together, honey. And we have to be united in this front that we are going to absolutely help our special needs population. They need us.
Well, I am so glad that you are out there. I have followed you on Facebook. That's how I found you. I followed you on Facebook, and I've just been amazed and in awe of what you're doing. And what a heart and a pleasant woman, human being, and I am just so happy to have met you. And I want to make sure that everybody knows where to reach you. Can you give them your information?
Yes, absolutely. Please reach out to us at our website, eaglesflightsa.com. You can also, people message us on Facebook all the time. And by the way, I do have a clothing store.
You do? Yes.
All of the profit goes into Eagles Flight, and that's called Kim's Closet, named after our great friend Kim Rapier-Verrett. And we can be found on there as well. People come to us, even with the clothing needs, women, children, even at the store, and we accommodate them and make sure that they get what they need.
That is wonderful. We appreciate you so much in the South Texas area doing all this work. So you will be able to find all of her information on drpbetterlife.com, which is my website, along with all of the podcast platforms, YouTube, and listen to us on AM 930 on Sundays at 4 p.m. I do need to say a word about my sponsor. I got knee deep into our conversation. I love it. But Pinnacle Research Texas has been very good to me. We're going on our second year together, and they will be on next week. So we will have next week or week after, I think. And so I will have Dr. Patil on again to talk about fatty liver and liver disease in South Texas. And you can reach them at pinnacleresearch.com and get your free FibroScan. So I appreciate you being on today. It's such a pleasure and honor to meet you. Thank you for all this information.
Yes,
we will keep driving people to you. And
thank you.
Best of luck. Keep going.
Thank you. Well, appreciate what you do and how you empower women and urge people to get to better health. And we appreciate you as well.
Thank you. That's lovely. All right, dear. Well, everybody have a great week out there. We'll see you next time.